Hello, everyone, and welcome to Be Your Own Boss workshop. Today, we will be discussing personal management, time management, and organization.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. My name is Karina de Casablanca and I'm majoring in nursing and getting a minor in Spanish.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Aaliyah. I am majoring in social work and psychology.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trisha, and I major in social work. Today's objective, and during today's objectives, we will be discussing how do you tackle personal management? Do you manage your personal time effectively? Finally, learning organizational methods to help you focus on being your own boss. Bosses versus leaders. A boss tells you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Leaders essentially bring people together collectively to accomplish change, to inspire others, bring the best out of themselves and others. And leaders also help you achieve greatness. Personal management would be how I personally manage myself, my inner emotions, all of my abilities, and the people I surround myself with. Self-management, aka self-regulation, is how I take on my personal responsibilities, my behaviors, and my well-being. Again, personal management is all about managing yourself and how you manage yourself. When you self-manage, you tend to focus on better managing your time, stresses, and overall environment more effectively. When you're managing time effectively, it's good to create to-do lists, write notes to yourself, set up reminders, invest in personal planners that you're going to use, and plan ahead so that you're successful. When you're managing stress, you want to always try to maintain a positive attitude, be assertive, say no if you need to, practice meditation and relaxation methods. Yoga was one of the top ones listed. Exercise regularly and be sure to eat healthy, well-balanced meals. You are what you eat, and eating healthy will help you manage stress. Managing your environment. Surround yourself with positive people, overachievers who've accomplished something. Keep a diverse group of people around you with different views. Avoid negative thinking. Next slide. SWOT analysis, aka SWOT technique or SWOT matrix, has internal and external factors. The internal factors are strengths and weaknesses. The external factors are opportunities and threats. SWOT analysis is a personal management strategy that benefits organizations and people wanting to be their own boss. Utilizing this SWOT technique can help you become a more successful boss. SWOT is a valuable and effective technique for planning and decision-making for future goals.
So when we talk about being a boss, we're more so talking about being a leader. And again, emphasizing this theme of leading our own lives and taking care of ourselves to ultimately positively impact our environment. So a part of doing that is managing our time. Time management can be very difficult as we have whole different identities in regards to work, school, maybe you're a mother or you have siblings to take care of. But it's also important to remember to make time for ourselves in terms of eating, and just relaxing is very important in itself. So, we're going to discuss some time management strategies to help you make sure that you have time to prioritize and allocate enough time to each identity in which you hold. So, the first one is a theory or method proposed by Stephen Covey, and it's called the jar of life. So, basically, in this theory, um, the jar is your life. It proposes the jar as your life. And within your life, you have gravel, rocks, and sand, or pebbles. I'm so sorry. Rocks, pebbles, and gravel. So rocks are your most important tasks. This could be family. This could be going to work. Your pebbles are something that's a little less important. And then your gravel are tasks that could be something like simple, like cleaning your house, very minimal tasks that don't hold the same amount of importance as rocks. Overall, it's important to make time for all of these things. And sometimes, if we fill our jar or our life with a bunch of gravel and small, minuscule tasks that don't really have a lot of meaning, then we don't have enough time for our rocks. And these rocks are very important to who we are, pursuing our purpose in life. So, an easy way to think of the jar of life is kind of like class. We're students. So, rocks could be something like a research paper. That's going to take a lot more time, and it's something you should prioritize and learn to maybe break down. You don't want to have enough time to not complete the research paper, and you have a 12-page research paper do that night, and you're struggling to do it, and it's just not enough time. Pebbles can be considered homework, discussion posts. They take some time, they're important, but they don't take as much time as, per se, a research paper. Gravel could be things like extra credit or extra studying and research you want to do about content that you're learning. They're important, don't get me wrong. However, they don't hold the same importance as rocks and pebbles that contribute to your overall grade. Oh, sorry. So, as we're learning to prioritize our different tasks and goals within our lives, it's important to know how much time we should really allocate towards each task. So, the Parkinson law works so expands as so the time you have available is the time you'll take to complete it. So the more time you have to complete a task, say you have a month to cut your grass, so you'll take the entire month to cut your grass. Say you have a week to cut your grass, you'll take a week to cut your grass. So the more time you have, the more time you'll take to do it. The less time you have, the less time you'll take to do it. So I put motivational procrastination on here because this is a good way to actually use anybody who may deem themselves a procrastinator, that short time span to really focus you. I'm sorry if you hear my dog in the background. I don't know what's wrong with him. So basically, say you're doing an assignment very last minute, you're focused on that assignment. You have no other distractions. Nobody can distract you. You're laser focused, and you're gonna get it done within that time because you know you only have X amount of time. So the Parkinson's law basically works off this theory that if you only have a shorter amount of time to do it, then you'll be super focused and it'll cut down your distractions. So in a study in a company in Russia, actually, they decided to cut their work days down to 4 instead of 5 work days. And they found their employees were a lot more productive and actually accomplished more tasks than they did in a 5-day work period, just because they knew they only had 4 days to complete all their work tasks. So the Pomodoro technique, it kind of expands off of the Parkinson's law. So in this technique, you have X amount of minutes of focused work, and then you have X amount of minutes for a break. On the picture here, you can see it says it has 25 minutes of focused work and you have 5 minutes for a break. You can definitely change that up, make it 30 minutes, make it 45 minutes, whatever suits your fancy. But in this process, you're doing 4 of those sets. So you have 4 sets of focus works and then 4 sets of breaks. And then once you're done those sets, then you take a longer break. That may be 30 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes, an hour. It's totally up to you. I personally used the technique myself last night, and it was actually very helpful. I actually got a lot more done than I typically do. I was able to get like 4 or 5, 6 maybe. assignments done, just making sure I was staying focused and working well in those sets. So instead of doing 25 minutes, I personally did 30 minutes. And then I took 8-minute breaks, which I found was helpful for me. Fun fact, Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. Did forget to mention that. But breaks are important for us, and it's definitely important for our minds, especially as students, as we're sitting down trying to complete all this work. It sometimes gets very hard for us as we're staring at screens for a long time. I think the new fancy term is Zoom fatigue. It's very hard to stay focused, and we lose focus. Our eyes are start to boggling, and we can't even think or process through. Kind of think of it like reading your own paper. You don't catch all the mistakes you're making just because you've been looking at the paper for so long. So this theory works off the idea that, taking a moment to step back, giving your mind a reset, refresh, allows you to actually come back to your work with as much energy as you did at the beginning of your work session. And again, it kind of works on the Parkinson's law. You're having only a small amount of time of focus work, and that cuts down your distractions because you want to get done this work before your next break. Also, the break motivates you as, hey, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to work faster so I can get done my work earlier.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. So the next one is organization. I find it very, very helpful to declutter your surroundings before like studying for exams, or maybe like doing a research paper that's going to take up a whole bunch of your time. I feel like not only like clearing up your space, but like it also like reflects like your mental space. You just want to make sure you don't have too much to look at or too many distractions around you. Preparing for the next day is also very important, I feel like, because like if you're planning the day of, you're just taking that time away that you could be using. So you just don't want to waste your time and you just want to get right to your tasks. So always like planning the night before or the day before is really important and saves you a lot of time. Time management, of course. Um, you just want to make sure you're on top of your tasks timely, and you want to make sure, like Aaliyah said, setting a timer for yourself, like the Pomodoro technique. It can help you stay on track and it limits your distractions that you may have. Mastering delegating tasks like the rock and gravel that you saw. You want to make sure that you set out the time for the most important tasks. And you want to make sure that you have enough time for them, and then leaving the other things you could leave for other days um, as last. And then making lists and reminders. I personally love having um, my sticky notes on the base of my computer. I find it really helpful. It's like right in my face. I see what I have to do, the dates, and like level of importance by like putting a star right next to them. I make lists all the time, and I usually have Apple Calendar connected to my computer as well on my phone. So whenever I set like a time or like something that's really important, like an exam, I like see it right away, and like I know how to schedule my time around that. Okay, connection to leadership. A skilled leader or boss is able to identify and engage others and share values and purpose. So basically, this is just saying that they're able to see what the rest of the group feels, and they can like personify that and lead the group with shared values. Purpose-led leadership is the most effective and people-centered, and basically, it's like earlier, and you bring the topic or idea that you follow, and then you bring other people into a shared like vision, and then this is like a vision that everybody shares and then they follow you. And leading within your own life before leading others. I think this is very important because like a lot of the times, like you need to show like a child, if you're raising a child, you want to make sure that you're setting an example for them. And same as this, like you want to make sure you're setting an example for your group so they know who to follow and who to look up to. Okay, for this, an open discussion, I was wondering if anybody would like to join in and see what techniques do you find helpful, maybe that you found here or outside of here that you have been using in school, or like what types of organization skills and methods have you found successful, as well as how do you manage your time? Anything different, anything the same? Please join in.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So personally, I feel like how you guys said there we have very little focus time. What I do is I try to, I guess, space out between when, like, I'll say I'll work for 10 minutes and then I'll look at my phone for 5 minutes and then so on and so on. Because if I don't do that, I'll be on my phone for like 25 minutes and be like, all right, let me write one sentence of this, essay and then go back on my phone. So I try to make like a schedule, I guess a little mini schedule for my work routine.
Yeah, Ryan, that's a great idea. I also do the same thing. Like I try to like let's say I'm writing a paper, something like I want to get on paragraph 3 until I can look at my phone or like watch like a section of a show or something. So I definitely can relate.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, my name's Jesse. I'm a 4th-year student at Rutgers undergraduate. I thought it was pretty interesting when Aaliyah was talking about I think it was called the Parkinson's law. I thought that was pretty interesting because I never realized that I apply that to myself. I'll set a certain amount of time for work to get work done, and then I realize I usually take up that whole time. So when I set like a longer amount of time to get work done, I will take that longer amount of time, or when I set a short amount of time, then I will only take that amount of time to get my work done. And I thought that was just pretty interesting. I never knew there was a law that kind of described what I was doing. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, same here. I definitely didn't realize the technique where the law existed, and I didn't realize how much I actually like use the law in my life, especially when it comes to schoolwork. I'll be like, oh, I'll have a week to do this, and take literally a full week to do an assignment that could possibly have taken about 30 minutes, maybe an hour or two. So it's definitely interesting to see, but it's more interesting to see like once you are aware of it, how you can apply it to even just like house responsibilities. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll give a whole day to, maybe cut the grass, clean the kitchen, stuff like that, versus like, oh, only take this amount of time to cut the grass, take this amount of time to clean the kitchen. And I kind of incorporate the Pomodoro technique in that. So if I want to go out to the store, maybe do some window shopping or something like that, then I'll kind of use that to motivate me. Like, you only have this amount of time to do this, and then you can get a break and come back and do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I just want to say that, like, along with the Parkinson's law, I also think it's important to kind of find, like, what time of day you're the most productive. So for me, like, I know I like to get all of my work done in the morning because at night I don't feel like doing work. It's like my like Netflix time, I guess. So I always find that like if I make a schedule like that I stick to like just in the morning, then I just feel so much more productive than like waiting to do it later on in the day.
Finding balance is very important, and Netflix, yes, can be considered self-care. Great technique.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Thank you for sharing, Caitlin. That's something very important to know when you're most productive. I unfortunately realized that I am very productive in the morning. However, I can also be very productive at night. So it has to either be very early morning I'm working or just when I wake up or very late at night for some odd reason. Midday just does not cut it for me at all. So I try to save
To
maybe
me too. Like I get bursts of energy at night for some reason sometimes.
exactly. It's like all of a sudden, like, hey, I kind of want to go to sleep, and I have full energy and I'm wide awake. So I kind of realized, okay, maybe save lighter tasks for midday or get out and do something versus like trying to force myself to work midday. I realized I'm a lot more productive that way too.
Yeah, same. Like if I'm not in bed by like 11, then I'm gonna stay up like until 3. So yeah.
I should say it is important as well to make sure you eat. Make sure you're not like working for hours and haven't eaten anything or haven't gotten any rest. Even if you need to take a cat nap for 30 minutes or to an hour, whatever you can do in that day. Just make sure you eat, make sure you're well rested so you can be more productive.
Yeah, and that kind of touches again on the jar of life. That's a theory I really like. Just because one of your rocks should be and always should be self-care, because when you realize you don't eat or you didn't get enough sleep, you're a lot more sluggish and it's so much harder to complete any other task that you have. And then you kind of get on this repetitive cycle of, only doing minimal tasks because that's all you have the energy for, and then excluding the larger tasks that take a lot more time and a lot more focus to use. I mean, I don't do this. Well, I do it now, but sometimes if I don't wake up and eat, or like you get busy out in your day and you have to go to maybe some doctor's appointments, or you're going to work, you forget to eat, and then it's like 5 o'clock, and it's like, oh, I didn't eat the entire day. No wonder I'm hungry. Or by the time you do eat, you just you eat and then you sleep, and then you miss out on some other pebbles per se that you have to do some homework and discussion posts.
And breakfast is really important. Eating breakfast, even if it's not a full breakfast, at least a banana, a fruit, a small bowl of oatmeal, a bowl of cereal. Just make sure you eat breakfast because it is the most important meal of your day.
Yeah, self-care is definitely super important. Is there anybody else who would like to share like what techniques you find helpful or like how you manage your time?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
I like to use little like self-care rewards on my breaks, like something that I look forward to, whether it's a walk or reading something or a hot cup of tea, because that like it refills my energy even more when I'm doing something that feels rewarding, and it's not just, taking a break because I know I need it, but it's also fun.
For sure. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
Yeah. I usually sometimes like see like a portion of a show or something like during my break. So I feel it.
Watching something funny, if you do use the Pomodoro technique, watching something that's hilarious that'll make you laugh for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes before you start work again. Oh my God, that would definitely help you wind down and refocus when you do get back to work.
No, I've actually never thought of that, but that's cool. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Well, and I would also throw out there that you know, using that time, that break time to like move your body and get up away from a screen and rest your eyes can be really helpful too. Because I realize that sometimes like I'll be working and then I'll take a break and I'll get away from my laptop and I'll immediately pull out my phone and put my face into another screen and then go back to the first screen. And it just starts to drain on me. So I've tried to be more intentional about like when I take a break at the end of the hour, or when I feel that I need to, like I'm getting up, I'm walking around my house or going outside for a minute or doing some pull-ups or just something to like move my body and take a break from screens.
Yes, definitely. There's like these things. I don't know. I've actually never like bought them, but like I know my friend that does. She uses these like blue lens glasses, and then she says that they actually work. So I don't know if anyone else has tried them, but I heard they're great.
I have a blue light screen protector for my iPad. I don't know. I feel like I look at my computer screen just as equally as I do my iPad. So maybe I need one for my computer screen more. I will say it is a little bit more tolerable, like looking at my iPad at night compared to like beforehand.
Cool. So I just wanted to ask, um, what challenges do you also experience trying to manage your time?
Using the time that you set to do one thing, but you end up doing something totally different. And then it it kind of just smashes into that time you already had set aside for one thing. And now you're like, it's just like almost like being oh my God, I can't think of the word, but it's not a good thing when you have an hour set aside to do a reflection paper, but you ended up going into it doing answering discussion questions, and then it's unbalancing, you know.
You turned it into
Messes
something
everything
else.
up. Yeah, it's like the domino effect. It's like the domino effect.
And
Yeah.
what also can be a challenge is sometimes, you plan to do something, let's say at 9 o'clock at night, and then something comes up at 9 o'clock at night, totally unrelated to school. And then you have to focus on that other thing that came up, which, it's just life. So that
Yeah.
happens sometimes.
Yes.
True. Life can get lifey.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I would like to reach out to some people who haven't spoken yet. Laurel, do you have any points of view? Any tips you find helpful?
Yeah, honestly, as far as schoolwork, the calendar feature on Canvas literally just saved my life. If you go to calendar, it shows every single due date and what the assignment is with a link to the assignment. And then the thing that I love the most is that when you submit it, it puts a line through it so that you know you did it. And that's something that helps me a lot because when I have a list of something, I can't just leave it like once I do it, I have to check it off so that I know I got everything in. But the fact that Canvas does it for you, it saves me a lot.
No, I actually didn't know about that feature, so that's cool. I'm gonna be
Yeah, I
checking that out
recommend
after.
checking it out. Definitely check it out.
Cool, thank you. Um, on Yinye, is it? That's how it's pronounced.
It's Onyinye, thank you. For me, I just set timers on my phone and the calendar on my phone and laptop too. And like in my room, I have like a board where I put list of things I have to do. And I've also found motivational quotes, to help me get motivated when I'm just feeling down. So yeah, that really helps.
Oh, I love that. What are like some of your favorite like motivational quotes that you usually find helpful or like keep you motivated?
You've got this. Better days are ahead. Um, what else? I think new blessings, new week. Just simple things like that, yeah.
Awesome quotes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If anyone is interested in investing in a personal planner, please go to passionplanner.com. They have wonderful planners that would be unique to everyone's personal life. And it might be helpful to invest in one of their planners. They're really great. Another student mentioned it to me, and I just wanted to throw it out there just in case it could help you be your own boss and effectively manage your time and personal life and organizational skills.
Planners are definitely super, super important.
So I just want to, before we start to end on time, to make you guys aware of some workshops that we do have coming up. Next week, the Institute of Leadership in Action will be holding a stress management, self-care, and mental health workshop, both on Tuesday from 5 to 6, and then Wednesday from 11:20 to 12:20 during free period. The following week after that, we'll be hosting Embracing Adversity and Failure. That will be on Tuesday again, 5 to 6, and then Wednesday during free period, 11:20 to 12:20. These events can be found on both the Engage page, or you can go over to the Institute for Leadership and Action website. You can find them on upcoming events as well. Also, feel free to reach out to the Institute for Leadership and Action if you have any questions about these workshops coming up as well. And with the last little bit of time we have, I just want to make sure that everybody has any comments, was able to say any comments they have or ask any questions they may have about any of the techniques mentioned.
Michael actually just posted a link to Canvas because the Canvas calendar obviously is important to us right now that we're working remotely. So if you guys are interested in that, please jot down the link.
Yeah, and like Aaliyah said, if you have any questions, please let us know.
Questions,
Hey.
comments?
Can I ask a question of the group? You know, I think there's managing your own time, right? And then there's managing your own time in the middle of like COVID college. And so I'm wondering, just from everybody here, like, how have you adapted your schedule or your time management, or how you manage your environment to do your best to thrive while we are going through this pandemic and pursuing our education at the same time? Would love to hear thoughts from everybody.
So before COVID started, I obviously was on campus, and that's where I would get a lot of work done. And I would have it so like I would get all of my work done in between classes, and that was kind of like my scheduled time to do everything. So now that I'm at home, like I said before, I kind of like figured out what time of day works best for me, where I'm the most productive. And then I also just like make to-do lists every day. And that's something I didn't do when we were on campus because I just kind of did the work as it was assigned, like I said, in between classes. But now that I make to-do lists every day, I'm kind of, I like stay on track of everything.
Yeah,
Great
me too. I
strategy.
also. Mhm.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Well, we want to
Yeah.
thank you all for joining us for our Be Your Own Boss workshop. We hope you got some valuable techniques out of our workshop, and we hope to see you at our other workshops. Please go to engage.com. And if you don't already know, please follow us on Instagram.
Yep. RUC_I lead act. It's in the chat if you wanted to see it.
And we'll be hanging out for a few minutes after the workshop, just in case anybody has any questions or ideas that they didn't want to bring up, you know, for the large group. Happy to hang out with and chat with you one-on-one.
And we want to thank everybody for coming out and taking your time out of your day to attend this workshop. We hope that you all did get something out of it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Have a wonderful, blessed day.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.